Well, good morning, good afternoon, everybody, wherever you may be in the world. Welcome to the next and latest Need for Viz webinar, entitled today, Say Goodbye to Static PDFs and Deliver Interactive SAP BI Reports Anywhere. Glad to have you with us today. We're just going to go through a couple of things. But before we start, and while we wait for other people to come in to the webinar, I just wanted to let you know that we at Need for Viz are very excited about being the platinum sponsor at the IBIS 2025 conference. This is going to go on just outside of Tucson, Arizona. It's happening in June the 23rd and 25th. If none of you are familiar with the IBIS conference, the IBIS conference really is the only place to come together as business intelligence and SAP WebI professionals to talk about various things, creating reports and so on and so forth. In fact, the event has many, many tracks that we are going to be presenting twice during, many tracks during the presentation. In fact, the gold sponsors, Catch Intelligence and Infolytic, will also be presenting as well. I encourage you to take a look at their website. If you simply Google IBIS 2025, you will definitely see the different tracks that are there. And perhaps if you'd like a opportunity to get to Arizona in June, which I believe is going to be sticky hot, please come and see us. We hope to see you there. Anyways, I wanted to let you know about that. So as we get going with our presentation today, wanted to do some introductions. So in behind is Jean-Bernard and Jerome in our Paris office. They're going to be monitoring the chat. And as well, you'll see that Dallas is on the screen as well. Dallas Marks, who is our consultant extraordinaire, and myself, Warren, the sales executive for North America. Let me just find my mouse here. So let's talk about, sorry, did I skip one? No, I did not. So let's talk about why we're here. Pardon me, a customer use case. So why did this all come about, and why are we having this webinar today? So we have a customer who is a shipbuilder. They take hours each morning to deliver static PDFs to their manufacturing and production teams to show the progress. Now, this is a very lengthy process of creating PDFs, attaching them to emails, and getting them out there. But they were looking for a better way of doing that. And we've come up with a way that they can save time by sending out one link to HTML dynamic report. We're going to show you a whole bunch of HTML dynamic reports today. But what does that mean? So instead of somebody receiving these PDFs on a daily basis, trying to figure out which one is the latest one and the newest one, they simply have one link that they need to maintain. And this link does not change, and the data is updated on a daily basis in this particular case. The report is fully responsive and interactive and can be viewed on any device. So whether it's a phone, a tablet, whether they're using a desktop, large screen, doesn't matter. Also, these reports now have become company-wide, and they are created by our environment and delivered by us. So in today's webinar, what are you going to learn? And what things do you really need to take away? So we want you to come away with the ability and an understanding of learn how to deliver scalable, dynamic, and interactive SAP BI reports effortlessly. And I think that that's something that we're really going to show you here. You can reduce your SAP license costs by sharing reports with consumers without requiring full access licenses. Now, if you've already have that sunk cost, that your consumers of these reports are already have an SAP license, obviously there's nothing we can do. But if you are considering purchasing new licenses, hold off and understand fully what it is that we're going to show you today, because there is probably a better way. We're going to offer you faster, smoother, and more engaging reporting experience for your end users. Create and distribute fully interactive SAP reports, accessible anytime, anywhere. Replace multiple static reports with one interactive scalable version, as I talked about with our shipbuilding organization, who just wanted to send out one link that has all of the information as opposed to multiple PDFs. Replace multiple static reports with one interactive, sorry, I said that. Reduce your environmental footprint. No more daily emails with heavy PDF attachments. Now, Dallas is going to be walking us through. In fact, he's going to be the one who's in your ear, the voice in your ear for most of today. He's going to be doing what we call a tale of two reports, showing you two different reports, PDF, as well as an HTML report and the interactive ability between them. So let's just talk about a few housekeeping items before we get started here. So we're going to take about 45 minutes of your time today. That includes questions. We have everybody that's on the call on mute currently. If you want to communicate with us or you have questions, we encourage you to use the chat. As I said earlier, Jerome and Jean-Bernard in our Paris office are monitoring the chat. In fact, I think Jean-Bernard has already sent out a few things welcoming you to the call. So please use the chat. We're going to address those questions that you may have at the end. In fact, we might address some of them within the chat, but we're certainly going to talk about them at the end. And we're also going to send out a recording of this to you who have attended, also the people who have registered and may not have attended. But you can also watch these off of our website and our YouTube channel. And our YouTube channel, you can get to that from our website as well. So let's talk about the product offering. For some of you who may not know who Need for Viz is, what is it that we actually do? Within our portfolio of product, we really have four key areas. The first one is our widgets. These widgets are designed to transform WebI reports into a data visualization powerhouse without leaving the business objects environment. In fact, one of the key points and a lot of the questions we get asked is, are you fully integrated within the SAP WebI environment? And the answer to that question is yes. We have users who are using our tool who have been taught by our customers how to use our tool, and they have no idea that they're utilizing an N4V widget, which could be a chart, whatever it is, and not something that is natively inherent to business objects WebI. We also have a mapping component, so a fully integrated GIS solution inside WebI without needing any external tools. We're going to show you that online and offline mapping as part of what Dallas is going to show you today, as well as we have an analysis solution so you can analyze and do some viewing and queries on the data outside of WebI within our environment so that you can take those queries and create dashboards if you wish. The focus, the last one here, the focus of our webinar today is talking about our N4V publisher. This gives you the ability to export WebI reports in HTML5, making them accessible, interactive, and responsive for all your users outside of WebI. So with that, let me talk about our publisher and resources. So some of the features here that you're going to see is that N4V Publisher is completely integrated with SAP WebI. I mentioned that earlier. This is a big thing. Please, if you walk away with nothing else, please understand this, that we are fully and completely integrated with SAP WebI. N4V Publisher provides powerful scheduling and distribution. We're going to show you that. And it's a faster and better way to deliver reports and dashboards. And by the time you have seen our webinar today, you'll fully understand that and realize that as well. You can deliver interactive and responsive reports that can be published nearly anywhere to any device. And you're saving money by not needing an SAP license for report consumers. And this is a big deal for a lot of our customers and prospects that we're talking to. To help you understand better what our solution looks like, we have created this catalog. And you'll see across the top left-hand corner, you've got Home, N4V Publisher, the widgets, the maps, and the analysis. Again, those are the four key areas of our solution. Dallas, throughout his presentation, is going to talk about each one of those and show you those. But we encourage you to go there at the end of the presentation to that URL. We also have a QR code here that would be easy for you to understand. Jean-Bernard has just put that into the chat so that you can view and look at our catalog of what we have done for various organizations in the past. And that catalog will continue to grow. So now I'd like to pass this over to Dallas to walk us through our presentation today. Dallas, I will go to the first slide if you are ready to go, sir.
Okay. So as Warren alluded, today we're going to talk about the tale of two reports. And we have them here on the left. You'll see a report. You may have designed something like this in Web Intelligence. It's got some tables, it's got some charts. It is sectioned, so it can handle a large quantity of data. And on the right, you'll see that we have a one-screen dashboard that's capable of presenting the same information, but also providing some interactive capabilities as well that you're just not going to find in a static PDF. So just like the famous book A Tale of Two Cities, it was the best of times, it was the worst of times, and so we definitely want to show you the best of times using our solution today. So the first thing I want you to take away from these two screenshots, notice that both of these were created inside of Web Intelligence. They are fully functional inside of Web Intelligence. So let's go to the next slide. So what do these two reports have in common? Well, the first thing is that they were both created with Web Intelligence. And that's where I'm going to take you in just a moment. And they were both natively authored there. And so this is something that your user community is probably already very familiar with, how to use the Web Intelligence tool. And we're going to show you how seamlessly our custom elements, our widgets, are integrated into the tool. The other thing that is very, very important is both of these tools are leveraging a common semantic layer. So whether your organization is using universes, whether your organization is using BW, whether it's on HANA, not on HANA, whether it's BW for HANA, we've got you covered. And also the latest versions of business objects, both 4.3 and BI 2025 provide support for SAP DataSphere. And this is really something that you want to consider when you're deciding to deploy a new solution, a new dashboard, because these are things that have to often be recreated if you're going to leave the SAP ecosystem and build a solution with other tools. The other thing that both of these reports have in common is they both take advantage of the powerful scheduling and distribution that's available in the Business Objects platform. So we've already talked about, if you're a report user and designer, you already know a lot about our product. Well, if you're an administrator, you also know a lot about our product, because the same scheduling mechanism that we would use to schedule the PDF report, that's the same scheduling mechanism that we're going to use to update our dashboards. And so whether your dashboards get updated in a nightly batch, or whether they get updated, let's say, multiple times through the day for almost a near real-time experience, you're leveraging an admin tool that you already know how to use to get the best data. Okay, so what is different about these two reports? So they were both created with Web Intelligence, but only one of these was created with N4V for WebI, and that's the dashboard that I'm going to show you. Our solution has over 60 widgets, and these are very engaging visuals and maps. And not only are they pretty to look at, they're interactive. Which means that a lot of our components have drill down capabilities, they have filtering capabilities. So it's not just about looking at a static picture that's pretty, it's something that users can interact with and gain, additional understanding, something that they can't get on a static page. They're also, as we're going to see as we publish HTML, responsive. And this is something that we provide for you automatically. So whether your users are looking at a published dashboard on a desktop, on a mobile device, a tablet, or even their phone, we're going to see today that the HTML is automatically going to adapt to provide them a great experience. and without losing any of the interactivity. And we're certainly going to contrast that with the joy and delight that interacting with a large PDF is on a mobile device. So also what is different is this dashboard is fully functional inside of Web Intelligence. So if that's the way you choose to use our tool, you can have Need for Viz dashboards inside of your BI Launchpad, and they're fully interactive. They're no different than any Web Intelligence report you would create. But what's really special is by publishing them to HTML, I can put the HTML on an intranet. I can put it on an extranet. We even support publishing to SharePoint. And so that means that this information can go anywhere. It's going to be available from a single click. I don't have to worry about going through my email and make sure that I'm opening the most recent PDF that the scheduler has sent me. So what benefit this really provides is we're able to support our decision makers wherever they are and regardless of the device that they're using. And it's going to be really simple for them because there's no business objects login. There's just one click to open up a browser hyperlink, and off they're going to go. Okay, so let's take a closer look at these reports. And bear with me a moment. We're gonna switch presenters here, which is hopefully magical. All right. So the first thing I want to look at is let's look at the PDF report. And I'm going to show you what this looks briefly in Adobe Reader. You've all seen this, but what I really enjoyed about the latest version of Adobe, I was not planning this, but I got a laugh out of the fact that Adobe Reader says that this appears to be a long document and that you could save time by reading a summary. Well, it is a long document, and you could really save time by just having a single click to a beautiful interactive HTML dashboard. So what happens if I open this up in my browser? Well, let me set the stage for you. So today, regardless of which tool I'm in, I'm going to play a regional manager from the Midwest United States. And I'm specifically focused on the stores that we have in the state of Ohio. That's the state that I actually live in. Okay, and so you've all seen this before. One of the great things about using sectioning in a business objects web intelligence report is it means that our users get a great set of bookmarks, and they can go exactly to the portion of the report that they need. Now, of course, this can include charts as well as tables, but with a static presentation, there's a lot of information that I have to put together in my head. Without a map, I'm not really familiar with where these stores are geographically and how they might relate to each other. And I also can't see at a glance what's going on here. Really have to make sure, well, what am I looking at? What measurement am I looking at? And trying to keep into my head, which stores are doing great, which stores are doing poorly. So this gets to be even more of a problem if I'm on a mobile device. And so I'm going to start here first. So I'm going to use my browser to mimic a different device. So here I am on an iPad Pro, and you can see that there's going to be a lot of pinching and expanding, moving my finger around to find the right part of the data that I want to really find, and that even gets more tedious as I go down to something that's a cell phone size. So there's just a real lack of interactivity with the PDF. And again, if this is a PDF that you send me every hour with updated information, I'm constantly checking my email. I've got to make sure that I'm looking at the latest PDF. and there's really just a lot of hassle. Okay, so what can we do to make this a better experience for everyone? Well, I'm going to go to the new catalog that that Warren mentioned, and so I'm going to go in here to my bookmarks. And again, we will be sending this link out. If you didn't grab it from the QR code already, this will be in your thank you email, and you'll be able to get to this from our main website. But this is our catalog. And so our 60 plus widgets have all been published here as HTML. So this is content that was all originally authored in Web Intelligence and then exported. And so most of our components have great tooltips that you can customize. Other ones have drill down capabilities, like our drill bar, which we're using in our retailer dashboard that we're showing you today. We've got our beautiful maps. And today we're using both a Google map as well as an OpenStreetMap. We've got several ways to do analysis. One thing I've noticed about specifically accountants is as much as we would like them to be, they are not as enamored with charts and graphs as much as they are with rows and columns. But look at this. This is a beautiful interactive cross table, and it can be optionally shown with a chart. And I can filter, I can do drill down, I can completely rearrange which objects I want to analyze, and so this is really an analyst's dream. And instead of anticipating their every requirement, I can hand them a solution that they can tailor it and look at the data exactly in the way that they want to, and that they can use the filtering and interactivity to pinpoint, why are the account codes off balance, for example, and whether they interact with the cross tab, which I have on the left, or whether they work with the chart on the right, they're both going to keep in sync. So as I drill on one or the other, the other half is going to be there for me, and I can even export my final results to Excel. Okay, so those are the three components of our suite, how our 60 plus widgets are organized, and they can also be used to create complete dashboards. And so under the N4V publisher link, currently we have 3 dashboards in our gallery. This is going to grow over time, so I do encourage you to check back. We have got a dashboard for a nonprofit that is studying their donations and the demographics of those. We also have a dashboard that we've built that analyzes how you're using N4V. So we're able to ingest the utilization information from your business objects environment, specifically the N4V engine, and able to present a lot of metrics to you. So you're welcome to check both of those out offline, because where I want to take you today is, voila, here is the dashboard, again, that we authored in Web Intelligence. I authored it on the report tab right next to, it was in the same document that I authored the what became the PDF export. And so in HTML, I have full fidelity. And what I mean by that is all of the interactivity, all of the filtering, all of the drill down capabilities that these components provide is there. And I can even do some filtering. And I'm not really interested in chatting with our chatbot, but we do have a chatbot in our bottom corner. So as you're gazing through the catalog and you would like to request a demo from us, which we'd love to show you, we've got our friendly little chatbot right down there in the bottom corner. Okay. So we've created this in Web Intelligence. We've got all the fidelity that we need. And so let's take a look here. So this is a pretty well-designed dashboard. And what I mean by that is there's usually two main things that you want to accomplish with the dashboard. One is you want to summarize some KPIs or some metrics, and you want to catch the user's eye immediately. And those KPIs should be actionable. If they're not actionable, they're probably really not KPIs. But I can tell at a glance here how the USA is doing overall. I can tell how the Eastern region is doing. That's the one that I'm the manager of. And you can see it the way things are going right now. I'm not getting my bonus. Not terribly happy about that. Okay, so I'm going to drill in here a little bit. And first, I'm going to just look at the Eastern region as a whole. And notice that my 4 KPIs at the top did not update because they're constantly looking at the entire organization. But everything under that, you might have noticed a very brief flicker, and that's because the filtering was dynamically applied. Now, if I would have done the same thing in Web Intelligence, it would have been just as beautiful, but because of the overhead of Web Intelligence, it would not be as snappy and as quick to get into as this pure HTML is. So HTML means that I've got one bookmark to open. It means that I don't have to log into business objects. It means I don't even need a business objects login. And as Warren mentioned, sometimes just needing a business objects login means that you need to have a large number of licenses to support your user base. And that can really increase the total cost of ownership of your solution. So one license, that's all I needed here for this. So we've got our drill bar here in the middle. I've got last year's sales versus this year's. So I can drill even further, and I can look by region, and I can look by county. And this drill path is something that I get to set up as the dashboard designer, and it's completely independent of how my universe is designed. So for those of you who do universe design, you might be familiar with setting up drill down paths in the universe. None of that's required. I simply need to tell this object the list of dimensions that I want it to be drilled through and the order that I want to drill through in. So I've got interactive tooltips. So anytime I need a precise value, I can simply hover over a data point. That's true of nearly all of our components. And as you can see here, I can get different answers than the one initially presented. I can drill down in a way that I told the Web Intelligence designer that I needed to be able to see my results. Now, as I clicked on the East region, like I said, all of the visuals updated accordingly, so you can see that I'm only looking at the Eastern United States here. I can drill down even further, and let's go from the East down into the Mid-Atlantic region. So as I indicated earlier, I'm really interested in looking at the Ohio stores. So I'm going to do that, and I can, if I need to, I can go full screen and blow it up. And I can see here that we do business, we have stores, retail stores in 3 of the counties inside of Ohio. So for those of you who may not be familiar with Ohio, this is Cuyahoga County where Cleveland is. Portage is where Akron and Canton are. Those are kind of smaller suburbs. And then down here in Franklin is Columbus, our state capital. Okay, and so I can see how everything's going there. And notice that when I drilled down into Ohio, that my bottom row of components updated as well. So I'm looking at my 4 stores, and if I use the OpenStreetMap down here, let me blow this up for you as well. So I can zoom in, and this, even with alerters, even with color coding, this is really something that's hard to do with the map. I instantly know where my stores are. I know how far apart they are. And because I've got an indicator on the pin, I can see that I've got one green store in Dublin, which is a suburb of Columbus, and I've got 3 underperforming stores. So if I don't make my regional bonus this year, there's also going to be some store managers that might be a little disappointed. So and I can hover over and I can see exactly what I want to see, what's going on. Okay, that also means I've got some tabular information, and sometimes a table is important. This isn't just a table. It is fully interactive, and you can see I've got some filters here. I've got some sorting controls. So for example, I can resort the data, so I can put my worst performer, the Port Columbus store, its sales are down 21% for this period. That's really bad. Of course, the Dublin store is doing well. And if I want to get some more insight into where these stores are located, I can just click on them and I can get a little more information. Looks like our Dublin store is a mall location. Okay, I can also do some filtering. So if I want to remove, for example, I just want to look at negative sales trends. I can immediately filter, and notice how quickly that's happening. Again, it's beautiful in Web Intelligence, but there is a bit of a performance lag, a bit of a reflashing of the screen. And by doing this in HTML, it's just blazing fast, and it's just something that your user community is going to be really, really delighted with. Okay, and let me go back. I'm going to reset this. So we looked, we simulated different devices with the Adobe document. So we're going to do that here. And so allow me to go in just quickly and show you. Okay, there we go. So once again, I'm on, I can be on a tablet, and looks pretty close to the desktop. And I can even go further. Notice that I've got all my interactivity, all my drill down, even on a smaller device. So I can go down into the East region. And let me do that again. So notice in the phone mode that not only have I drilled down to the East region, but the East KPI at the top is the only one that I'm looking at, because in this context, it's the only one that really matters. And so I'm able to conserve valuable screen real estate, and all my widgets are still lined up here. And again, they're still fully interactive. And I can come down here to my table, for example, and I'm going to look for stores in New York City, and I can instantly do that. So, and the only thing better than emulating this in a browser would actually be to have my iPhone in my hand and doing all this analysis again wherever I'm at with a single click to the bookmark, and I don't even need a business objects login. So really what we want to drive home today is adding need for Viz and for WebI to your existing business object solution. It uses the web intelligence that your users already know and love. It uses the semantic layers that they're already familiar with. And even from an administrative standpoint, it's leveraging knowledge that your administrators have. And so it allows you to take web intelligence to the next level. It's not just a reporting tool anymore. It is a fully modernized dashboarding tool. And with that, I'm going to send this back to Warren.
Fantastic. Thank you, Dallas. Dallas, can you see my screen?
Yes, I can.
Fantastic. All right. Thank you, Dallas. That was a lot to take in. Right now, we'd like to do a little bit of a wrap up. It's 35 minutes past the hour. We told you we probably have you for another 10 minutes, depending on the number of questions that we have. Again, as a reminder, if you have questions about Dallas, what Dallas just showed you, please do put that in the chat. All right, so what have you learned based on what it is that I talked about and what Dallas has shown you? So what you should have learned from today, and hopefully we taught you all this, was how InfraV Publisher can help you deliver responsive, dynamic, and interactive reports through our HTML export, how to save money on SAP licenses simply for report consumers with InfraV Publisher, how users will experience smoother, faster, and better interaction on any device. Again, that responsiveness, as well as by having it in HTML, it is more responsive. It is more quicker to come up than the native WebI. How you can create and deliver fully interactive SAP BI reports anywhere using InfraV Publisher. And the last thing, one-click report access. No SAP business objects hassle at all. No needing to log in, so on and so forth. That information is provided to you. So as part of our wrap up, what we talked about in the start of our webinar today was our 4 components. Again, our InfraV widgets, which Dallas showed you with our catalog, our InfraV maps, which you saw as well, a little bit about that, the InfraV analysis with the bar charting and the accountant reference, as well as InfraV Publisher, which was the bulk of our presentation today. So who benefits from an organization by having InfraV for WebI? Well, there really are the 6 different personas in an organization. So executive and decision makers, and I'll let you read the details yourselves, the business analysts, the finance and operations teams, sales and marketing teams, the IT and business intelligence teams, as well as end users and stakeholders who are going to access the WebI reports anywhere with HTML5 exports via the InfraV Publisher. All of those 6 groups can experience better reporting, better report consumption by utilizing the InfraV products. Once again, I want to show you the catalog that we have. Again, I encourage you to go to the catalog. As Dallas showed you, there's a lot of good information on there. We're continually updating that as we work on dashboards with some of our customers and prospects to deliver proof of concepts. We will always update that so that the latest and greatest is always there for you to take a look at. Here's the URL as well as our QR code. I know that it's in the chat as well. So we're going to get to some questions and answers at this point in time. We got about 7-8 minutes left. The first question, I'll just read this out, is destination configuration prerequisites, how and where to make these settings. Dallas, are you able to answer that question?
Yeah. So you will want to export the HTML from our Web Intelligence extension. It's that'll be installed in the main panel, and that will zip up the solution, and you can then deploy that as you like. So we have some organizations that they go ahead and deploy it to the Tomcat that Business Objects is using. We have other organizations that they'll stand up a web server specifically for the purpose of hosting HTML, and we'll have other customers that publish to SharePoint. But all of that is configured from Web Intelligence when you're designing the document, and it's very easy to do.
Great. Thank you, Dallas. Next question. What are the limitations of data analysis within our 4 components? Any that you can think of, limitations?
That's the only limitation is might be due to the amount of data that you're bringing back, but that's not dependent on the need for Viz Engine. That's actually dependent on the Web Intelligence engine. And we could certainly drill down on that. A couple of things, even though I don't have the numbers in front of me, in BI 2025, the SAP engineers, they've actually increased. I believe they've doubled the amount of data that can be pulled back. It's a pretty high number, but I know some of you have a lot of data. So if that's something that you'd like to drill down into, we'd certainly like to schedule a conversation with you, and we can talk about how how you're intending to use our product.
So Dallas, let's take a different spin on this question. What about the limitations of data analysis within the HTML5 document? Is there any limitations there?
No. Actually, I would completely flip it on its head. Obviously, if your user is an experienced web intelligence designer, they can adjust a report to suit their needs. They can modify a query. But really to have everything in front of them, and our data analyzer in particular, it's really like having Microsoft Excel plugged directly into Web Intelligence, and so that's completely out the realm of what you can offer users with just WebI alone. While we're on the subject of limitations, where my brain went. Just want to drive home. If you go to our homepage, you'll notice that we have a demo portal that's a live BI 4.2 site. So we know that SAP ended support last year, but our site's still up, just in case you're still there. Our solution works on BI 4.3, and it works on BI 2025. So you're able to adopt our solution. It's one install, regardless of the version of the business objects platform that you're currently using.
Fantastic. Thank you, Dallas. One other one. How do you filter the information by user? So if you wanted to take that example that you used in HTML5, showing the dashboard, how can we filter that information by user?
Well, we certainly could have put a control in the design of the dashboard that would allow the user to be changed. Remember that the HTML it's all pre-generated. And scheduled in advance. So if you have a row level security requirement, that is certainly something that if you're running our dashboards inside of the Web Intelligence platform, which they run perfectly there, then as you're connected to a live, let's say a universe that might have row level restrictions, those row level restrictions are going to be picked up by virtue of which user is logged into Web Intelligence and actually refreshing our dashboard. So if you want to, again, drilling down on that, that would be a great reason for us to have an offline conversation, and we hope you'll take us up on that offer.
So The next question, and we just have a few more questions before our time is up, but what about scheduling? What's the best way to do scheduling? For the HTML?
So we didn't show it, but we use the exact same scheduling mechanism that's built into Business Objects. So whether you're scheduling from the BI Launchpad or whether you're setting up a schedule from the CMC, by refreshing the Web Intelligence document, that is going to push updated HTML and therefore updated data out to the dashboard. And so that's something an administrator has to worry about. It's never anything that a user is going to worry about. So they're always going to click the HTML link, and they're going to see what you've pushed out to them as the latest and greatest.
Okay. A few more questions here. One is quite large. If the organization already has a robust visualization platform in place, how would you respond to the argument that instead of building dashboards within SAP Business Objects, using this plugin, it would be more efficient to leverage the existing visualization tool to create and expose dashboards to internal teams or clients?
Yeah. So one thing, the term plugin kind of has some baggage associated with it. So what we are not a plugin, but what we are is a fully supported certified add-on for the business objects platform. So SAP provides the hooks for what they call custom elements, and that's what allows our visual components to sit on the same menus right next to SAP's own, pie charts, bar charts, etc. And again, what we hit from the beginning, what do these documents have in common? A lot of you have invested lots of man hours into your universes, into how your BW is organized. Those of you who are using DataSphere, all of those semantic layers, there's a lot of time and effort. And by using Web Intelligence, your time to, let's say, market, your time to deliver a solution, it is just so much quicker because you're leveraging that. The other thing that I would say is you're as a dashboard designer, you're using Web Intelligence. You may not be fully familiar with what's available in our catalog of 60 widgets. You may have to, learn a little bit about the properties to customize our widgets the way you want to, but you already know how to use this product because you already know how to use Web Intelligence and it's directly built in. So there's a lot of time savings. So you don't have to think about training. You don't have to worry about reinventing the semantic layer to support other tools, and also you need to ask: do those other tools, do they allow you to export outside of their platform without a license? And do they offer snappy HTML that offers the full functionality of their product, when it's hosted in their web portal? So those are all things that we, those are dramatic, game-changing differentiators that we feel for using our solution.
Dallas, two questions. We've gone over time here,
okay.
But here's the next to last one. While setting up the dashboard, does data stay within business objects under client tenant, or data flows into for the tenant?
So the cubes, from the universes, from BW, all that is going to remain in the BI platform. The only thing that's going to be put into the HTML is the data needed to drive that particular dashboard. So if your dashboard's only looking at Ohio, you're not going to find billions and billions of rows of data in the HTML. It's only everything that's needed to support what the visualization does and any drill paths that it might have.
Excellent. Final question, and this one is for me. What is your pricing structure? So we price our solution based on the size of your SAP Business Objects environment. We would love to have a conversation with you around pricing. There's kind of a bit of an art to it, so that depends on how large your environment is. That would be the pricing for our environment. So with respect to pricing, it really is depending on your environment. So love to have a conversation with you about that. Before we end, let me just see. I'm just going to go here. So
Warren,
this is our.
Let me just interject here because it ties back to the other question. So we were talking about other tools. The popular tools, probably because of their popularity, they feel like that they can increase their prices in 2025. So again, we encourage you to look at the total cost of ownership. We are not raising our prices, and this is leveraging the Web Intelligence and the semantic layers that your users already know and love. So we hope you'll check us out.
Mm-hmm. Dallas and I would both love the opportunity to speak with any of you one-on-one, show you a detailed presentation of our solution, whether that be the publishing that we just talked about today or any of the other components of our solution. We'd be very happy to show you those. So this is my contact information. You can also see Dallas's contact information in our website. And I don't see any more questions that have come through. So Dallas, if you are good to go, I'll wrap up and simply say on behalf of the Need for Viz team, We thank you for attending today's webinar. As I said earlier, we will be sharing the recording to this webinar with you. It's also going to be on our website and on our YouTube page. And we look forward to seeing you at future webinars moving forward that we're going to be bringing to the market. And we thank you very much for your time and attention today. And hopefully you have a great rest of your day. Thanks to everybody.
Take care.